You're watching the Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship, brought to you by our 2023 partners.
Hey Roddy, test. Is talkback going to work today? So can you explain to me how? Yes, Roddy. I see. Okay. So talkback is on right now. So got it. Okay.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to the Prairie View Cricket Complex in Prairie View, Texas. This is round 5 of the Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship 2023. Our partners are Lakshmi, official partner of Minor League, MILC's Cricket for the Community Partners Brew, and MILC's outdoor partner is Dolphin Media. This is Brian Walters joining you here from the Prairie View Cricket Complex, where we've had a bit of a delayed start, but we're playing today a 12-over match. 12-over match between the St. Louis Americans and the Houston Hurricanes. St. Louis Americans having won the toss, deciding to have a bowl. Joining me to my right to start off with is the great Munir Majid. Munir, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to your greatness, Brian Walters, and good afternoon to all the listeners who have tuned in. Quite a big fixture in the context of the season of these two teams. The points table doesn't reflect doesn't reflect their aspirations, so to say. Houston Hurricanes in particular wouldn't have wanted to be in this position they are in. played 3 games and they've lost 2 of those, and the 2 losses have come in situations where they would have thought they had those 2 points in their back pocket, but somehow they still find themselves with just a single win out of 3 games. So the home team is looking to prove themselves and get their season underway, Brian.
The home team is a spectacularly loaded team. Big name players up and down. I think it's fair to say that they've performed at a less or lower level than they would have been comfortable with. Particularly in yesterday's game, Munir, where they came from, let's say, a position of strength to lose by 10 runs. And I think that they would have been pretty disappointed with that. But all of that is behind us. Striker on top is Munir. Striker is Mukhtar Ahmed, facing up to the tall left-arm fast bowler. That reminds me of me about 30 years ago, Munir. That is Sam Das. And he'll be bowling from the forest end, bowling to Mukhtar Ahmed, tremendously aggressive batter. In 12 overs, you would expect to see aggression up top. It'll be interesting to see how things develop starting here.
Absolutely, Brian. You literally sent shivers down my spine. I don't want to face that music right now. Sam Das was quite fierce in his bowling spells yesterday. Here he comes again, starting the day, and this one is down the leg side. Umpire Myron James from the forest end signals a wide. Mind you, it's a 12-over game, so 4 overs is the batting power play. What do you think, Brian, is going to be a good total given the conditions? And it's too early to say that the pitch is going to ease off or chase might be easy in the second half of this game, but 12 overs is what we've got.
Sam Das, a tall, 6'5", 23-year-old son of Junior Das, somebody in the St. Louis area who I've known for probably 10 or so years. Sam Das went to school, believe it or not, on a baseball scholarship, played cricket in his younger years, went to school for 4 years on a baseball scholarship as a pitcher, and now is after having graduated from school, is back in cricket. Appeal for a catch down the leg side. I think that may have just clipped off of the body of the batter. So not out. Umpire Myron James, you see, you're tapping the thigh to indicate that that's where the ball came from. But Sam Das, for me, is a brilliant bowler. Swings it into the right-handers from over the wicket. And again, me 20 years ago would have been Sam Das if I was probably, and there you see on the replay, that's a good call by umpire Myron James. That is off the thigh pad of Mukhtar Ahmed going down the leg side.
And that's another one down the leg side. So Sam, we've talked a lot about him. Tall, not so lanky, but still got a beautiful run up, good load up. He has to get his bearings right. And talking about the Das family, Brian, also his younger brother, Kishan Das. Unlike Sam, he is a wicketkeeper batsman, top order batsman. So both Das brothers have made quite a name for themselves. This one is rather short. Remains to be seen if Owen Brown is going to signal one bouncer for the over. Rather not. So just a dot ball.
You want your opening bowlers to be forcing the batters to play. And I think that's what you see here. Sam Das maybe getting the first couple a little too straight, as some refreshments are served to us here in the commentary area, which we really appreciate. But you want the opening bowlers to be making the batters play. This one is down the leg side, clipped off of the pad, beats short fine leg. That's going to run away for what I believe is the first. No, great diving stop at backward square leg. At short fine leg, actually. And a strong throw coming back in. The batters run through for 2 runs. So the first run's off the bat. Off and away is Mukhtar Ahmed.
Yeah, looks like that fielder down and deep square leg. Covered a lot of acreage. Literally ran about 30 to 35 yards, maybe even more. That might be Siddhant Shah, if I'm correct. As far as Mukhtar is concerned, anything down the pads, that clip is always on. He is the kind of player who says his role model is Virendra Sehwag. Bats quite like him. Not a lot of feet, but really good hand-eye coordination. This was Sam Das again to Mukhtar, and that's beautifully bowled, good line and length. Just push for a single, and that was in fact Fahad Babar. So they ran 3, it seems, on that last clip of the pads, and that's going to put Mukhtar back on strike.
So obviously, in the shortened form of the game, you're only batting for 72 deliveries. So you have to take advantage of all scoring opportunities. So the idea is to not have any dot balls bowled at you. So you already have 6 runs on the board with 1 delivery remaining here in the first over. Appeal for a catch and given. Oh, great delivery on the off-stump line, and it kisses the outside edge. Mukhtar Ahmed not able to keep that one out, goes through to the keeper, immediate appeal, loud appeal, and given by umpire Myron James. First wicket falls, the score is 6 for 1.
We talked about the Sehwag-esque attitude of Mukhtar, or his rather approach towards batting, and on that occasion, not much feet, as you'll see in this replay. There's no slip, so he must have thought that that option was always on. Third man is also inside the circle, so was rather just trying to glide it past the keeper and got a little too greedy there against the new ball. Just feathers the glove and it goes straight to the wicketkeeper Nikhil Kanchan, who wasn't going to drop it, as you see that again.
Boy, looking at that replay, we'll talk about more about that after the break. Very first delivery, or the first wicket falls. The score is 6 for 1 after 1.
So, going to resume into the second over. Sam Das bowled the first over and got the big fish. Mukhtar Ahmed was the one who was dismissed. And no surprises there. Joshua Trump has walked in. He's been scintillating. Started the tournament with a couple of back-to-back half-centuries during that first weekend. Didn't get going yesterday, but as we speak, his mom and dad, Brett and Candace, are sitting right next to us, and they would be keen on their sons getting a move on and getting those all-important 2 points for the Hurricanes.
Both Trump brothers, obviously rays of sunshine in every way possible, both from South Africa, of course, and excelled at the junior level, and both of them making their mark here in the minor leagues. This, of course, is Fahad Babar on strike to Justin Dill, the captain for the St. Louis Americans, coming from the northern, or from the southern end of the ground. That's the highway end. The first delivery cut to deep third for the first runs off the bat for Fahad Babar.
Yeah, good bounce and carry through. We saw that in the first over. Justin Dill, who's quite tall, 6'3", 6'4", he would want to hit the deck. That's his strength.
He is a very difficult bowler to get away. In the old days, they used to talk about people who bowl a very heavy ball. He bowls an absolutely heavy ball. Hard to get away. Bowls at very hard length. But it'll be interesting to see how he does here against Joshua Trump.
This one is down the leg side. Would be signaled a wide by umpire Owen Brown. And talking of uncomfortable bounds and fending away deliveries, Brian, I put you on the spot in the last over. In the context of a 12-over game, we were trying to come up with a par score, and you fended off that question quite well. So I'm going to be persuasive, and we'll try to get your inputs after this delivery from Justin Dill. Fahad Babar facing up. In fact, it's Joshua Trump who's facing up.
I would say a par score in a 72 delivery, 12-over match has to be 100. It would have to be. 100 would be the minimum that you'd be looking for. And if you get to 100, wonderful. Anything beyond that, of course, is gravy. But at minimum, you're looking for 100 runs. Justin Dill, always a difficult bowler to score off of. And that's the key for me here. That's well played through the offside, a couple of runs. And in fact, it runs all the way. Okay, the sweeper coming deep from deep third comes across to get it. They get 2 runs. But for me, that is the key. Just do not allow any loose deliveries to not be scored off of. And even the good balls, if you can push them into the gap and score singles, that's even better. So for me, that's going to be the key. A par score for me would be 100. If they get something around 110, 15, then even better.
Yeah, and what's also going to be very crucial is you always have to keep reassessing those targets and play according to the situation of the game as Justin comes in again, and this is nicely played. Just opens the face of the bat. Rather went finer than he would have thought. First slip was in play. No harm done, just a single.
Yeah, running that one off the face, I'm thinking that he was probably wanting that to go a little square. But the key there is that he played with soft hands. So even though it went a lot finer, as you mentioned, Munir, it probably, because of the fact that he played with soft hands, didn't carry all the way to slip. So for me, that's a mark of a good batter who's able to control the deliveries in such a way that even if it doesn't go where he wants it, it still doesn't threaten the edge. In the air, just over the top of mid-wicket. It won't reach the boundary. They'll get two. And boy, it places such a premium on the ability to score runs. Do not let any deliveries go scored off of.
Yeah, and that was a really good effort. He might have plugged it from the sky. Probably was just brushing his fingertips. What we have seen so far is both the bowlers have got good bounce, and since they've got only a 3-over spell, they can go all out and really try and express themselves. And more prominently, Justin Dill in this over has had the batsmen hop onto their toes as he comes in again from the highway 290 end. This is beautifully played. Shot of the match so far from Fahad Babar. Gets on top of the bounce, rolls his wrist to keep it down, and that's a beautiful boundary.
Proper square cuts. You don't see those in cricket these days as much as you used to. Getting on top of the bounce, as you said, Munir. Look at this delivery. Justin Dill from over the wicket, maybe leaving it a little too short and much too wide. And Fahad Babar, you see him angle the bat at the exact point where the bat hits the ball and playing it square, running away square through that backward point area for the first boundary for him for the day. Absolutely lovely shot.
2 overs gone. At the end of 2, it's 13 for 1.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
All right, so over number 3 about to resume. It looks like there's still some retrieving being done. Mind you, the northwest side of this field, there's some wilderness. So anything that goes that way is quite a monumental task for the fielders to venture out.
Munir, if there is ever an effort to take probably 30 minutes and put 10 guys over there, both north and west of this field, to just search for balls, I'm sure they would come back with 5 or 6 match balls. So, even, in fact, the match that I umpired yesterday, the second match of the game, the second delivery of that match, the ball was lost over there. So somewhere in that direction, there's a brand new ball that needs just to be collected by somebody. This is going to be Sam Das bowling his second over.
If cricket balls could germinate, we would be harvesting truckloads of balls every season, Brian Walters.
Sam Das back in from the forest end, bowling to Josh Ram, skied in the air, deep. Oh, that is a spectacular piece of fielding down there. Did not take the catch, but he saved 5 runs for his side. Can't see who that fielder is down there, deep backward square, but he jumped, caught it, not able to hold on to it, but threw it back in to prevent the 6, and the batters only ran through for 1. So that's definitely a job where he saved 5 runs for his side.
Yeah, and it's looks like it's again that same fielder. I think that's Siddhant Shah back there. He took 3 spectacular catches in that game yesterday against the Dallas Mustangs, and He's been preferred as a boundary rider in the most crucial positions, one of the youngest members of the team. And
oh, look at this. They are now deciding that he stepped over the rope, apparently. So he did, I think, get a 6. Was that signaled as a 6 by umpire Myron James? I think it was. Here we see on the replay. Powered away to deep backward square. And we're a little far away here, but we'll see. Here's the camera work. Great camera work. Catch. In fact, there he is again. Skied in the air. Another catching opportunity. Diving forward, they dropped it. So it was absolutely dropped at deep backward square. So they did run for 1. But going back to the previous play, I believe that was initially adjudged to have been a 6. So 2 deliveries into the third over. 7 runs are on the board from this over. Josh Trump now up to 10 from 4. Fahad Babar 8 from 5. Houston at 24 for 1. Sam Das again coming in from the forest end. It's a good delivery by Sam Das. Punched the mid-wicket, cannot get through for a run.
one of my early impressions of Joshua Tromp, Brian, and you know I like to make these comparisons. A couple of occasions on which
Let me hear it.
Couple of occasions on which I've seen Josh, especially how he picks the length and how he clears that front foot, and the overall demeanor in which he pulls reminds me of Ricky Ponting on a lot of occasions. Big call.
High praise. High praise. Ricky Ponting. Munir, sometimes you and I can get carried away with these old references.
We are purists. We grew up during that time. I don't want to take you all the way back, Brian, but Joshua Tromp definitely, I think, is one of the most impressive young players in this season of the minor league. And given the kind of bounce and carry we are seeing with this new ball, the Hurricanes would definitely want him to face up as much as possible. He's so good getting on top of the ball and playing those kind of shots exactly, using the pace, playing it very late, finding gaps in the field. And then he has also got the big game. As needed, he can go really.
We'll see the 6 again coming in. Here's your replay coming in. Right there. Leaping, catching it. But does he come down on the ropes? Oh, before he took off, I'm thinking he stepped over the rope before he took off. Sam Das with the last ball of the third over. Josh Trump hammers it square. That's going to be 4. A shot of authority. We're going even further back here. That was a Gordon Greenwich type of a pull. My goodness, we just lost half our audience, but that was a shot of authority going through square leg for 4. That's the end of the over. 29 for 1. Talk us through this, Munir.
Yeah, as you see, we've been talking about Joshua Tromp picking up the length. And you would see how quickly that front shoulder drops and he allows the ball to come into his body and then rolls the wrist. I just cannot help but make that Australian reference over and over again.
Outstanding. 3 overs done. The score is 29 for 1.
All right, so this is going to be the last over of power play, and the trump card as far as the St. Louis Americans are concerned, Namibia international Gerard Erasmus has been brought on, and Fahad Babar was looking to express himself, didn't pick the length all that well. One good thing, a very impressive thing I noticed about Gerard is he comes across as a conventional off-spinner. We'll come back to that point after this delivery, and that's exactly the point I was making, Brian. But he gets a lot of outswing with the new ball, so you would think that he's going to roll his fingers over, but he releases the ball seam up at times and gets that away drift from the right-hander.
Up and over the top. That is a loose deliver from Gerard Erasmus. That flies away over cover for 6. Generally bowls a very good line and length, but this one is short and wide outside off stump. Fahad Babar absolutely cashing in. You'll see the replay here. Too far outside off and certainly too short, providing Fahad Babar. In fact, he backs away more to the leg side to access that offside and gets 6.
Yeah, on this one, he was definitely trying to give it a twirl. Didn't get it right, dropped it short. Better line and length this time, and it's just a dot ball. One other thing, Brian, the Hurricanes need to keep an eye on, which was their downfall yesterday, was between those big shots, there were a lot of dot balls. And as we have seen in this over, dot, dot, 6, dot. So rotation of strike is also going to be so crucial to their cause.
It is so important to do the basics well. Looking to swipe this away through the offside, missing out on the cut shot. But to your point, Houston came easily from a position of strength yesterday to lose that game. So I think they'll be very motivated to win that match because of how they lost the first match yesterday. Into the leg side, they'll run through for a single. And no, not quite an overthrow there, but I think they'll be very disappointed with the way that they lost. That is a very quick over bowled by Gerard Erasmus. At the end of 4, the score is 36 for 1. The next voice you will hear, joining me here in the commentary, will be a new partner. We'll introduce him on the way back. 36 for 1.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
36 for 1 after 4 overs, and as I mentioned, I have a new partner with us here on commentary. From our days battling each other in the Austin Cricket League, welcome Mayuresh Gokte. Mayuresh, good afternoon. Attempted stumping is missed. Good afternoon, Mayuresh.
Thank you, Brian. Pleasure to be here, and just fascinating to hear you talk about all the deep knowledge you have, all these players. I can't believe. I'm not surprised you went to Gordon Greenwich to West Indian within the second you had to mention someone as a reference. Why am I not shocked?
My goodness, this is another delivery coming from the Forest End. Good economical bowling so far. A couple of dot balls to start this. The 4th over, make that the 5th over, the first out of the power play. So more protection in the deep. Yep. This is going to be
I'm curious.
Sandeep Sivaram, and dropped into the offside and run through quick single.
Single brings Josh back on strike. I'm not surprised. I'll be interesting to see how the spinners do on this wicket. There was a lot of talk at the beginning of the moisture in the wicket, the bounce you're going to get. I'm curious to see how the spinners are able to get some control on this game, on this innings, because the Pacers have been a little bit expensive so far.
Next deliver floated up there and played off the back foot back to the bowler himself. Split second there. The non-striker might have been in some stress. That is Fahad Babar. But ultimately, Fahad Babar, who is 17 from 15, joined by Josh Trump, 14 from 7. We're in a compressed game here, Mayuresh, so anything can happen in the remaining 8 overs of this match. Off the back foot, forced down the ground. There's going to be a couple of bounces to long off. Looking to get accelerated here, Josh Trump.
Yeah, I think they're going to just bide the time a little bit and see what these spinners give them. Once again, Josh continues to impress at how well he's picking the length and just playing smart all around. He's not losing any opportunities, but if it's not there, he's just rotating the strike. He's been very smart in his play, picking the length.
Off the back foot. Again, trying to force this away through the offside. No contact made. A precious dot ball. You're in a compressed match here, so only another 43 deliveries left in this innings, Mayuresh. So 1 ball remaining here in the 5th. Tries the reverse sweep, doesn't work. So couple of dot balls. These are precious commodities here in the 5th over. Ends the 5th over, only 3 runs coming from it. The end of 5, the score is 39 for 1.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Welcome back. Start of the 6th over, 39 for 1, and as expected, the spin is attack is back in. The previous over only yielded 3 runs, so just slowed down things a bit. Barber on 17 of 17, so he's gonna have to start pushing on a little bit. But if he's giving this strike to Josh Trump, then he's doing part of his job no matter what, because Josh is looking fluid and definitely looks like he's setting it up for some spectacular hitting towards the end.
Going off the back foot, working this one into the offside for a single. So you mentioned Josh Trump is looking very fluid. You're only, at this point, facing another 41 deliveries. So it is precious that you do not have any more dot balls bowled at you. Looking to play this through the offside again. This is Fahad Babar one more time. So singles, you don't necessarily want singles at this stage, Mayaresh, but you certainly don't want any dot balls.
Well, no doubt. I think they're just trying to feel out what the wicket's doing. There is some turn on this wicket, and it's a little bit up and down, so I think they're just getting a feel for it right now.
This is Zayed Zakil bowling from the
That's a great shot.
forest end. This is or highway end rather. That's a lovely shot off the back foot, going through extra cover. The fielder deep at mid or long off, not able to get over to it. So that is the first boundary in several deliveries. That is Josh Trump with his first boundary of the day, and that gets all the way through the boundary for 4. So moving into 43, my goodness, you don't have a lot of time, so it's absolutely important to take advantage of these scoring opportunities.
Yeah, but give credit, like it's a safe shot, it was a smart shot, no risk there. And now he's going aerial, going straight. Is he gonna get to the boundary for the fielder? No, cut off right there. They should be back for 2. Again, just hitting a straight ball back over the bowler's head. Picking the length, hitting some smart but safe shots over here. Since we're gonna continue the reference game, I have to get in on this one. Can't let you and Munir be on this by yourself. I have to go with A.B. de Villiers as a South African Josh Trump, right? And bring back some youth to our viewers.
Off the back foot, Trump again working this to the, in fact, Nicol Kancha and the keeper jumping from behind the stumps, choosing to not throw that ball at the non-striker's end. So another single. 1 ball remaining here in the 6th over. We're at 48 runs, but for me, a par score, I mentioned earlier, par score is probably at minimum 100. They get 120, even better. Over the top of cover again. That's going to run away. A couple of bounces, it goes away for 4. Fahad Babar getting the width that he was looking for. Slashed away over the top of backward point for the next 4. 48 for 1. Talk us through this replay.
It was a good shot again. He picked the length and just rocked back and went through the gap on the offside, back to the square. Gave himself room and time and slashed it over there. And again, it's out there germinating with the brushes right now.
End of 6, the course, 48 for 1.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट में क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Welcome back. Start of the 7th over, 52 for 1. Starting to see a little momentum. The spinners 2 overs had gone on a little bit and restricted a few runs a bit, but last over from Zakir, we got a few 4s there and extra runs there. A little more momentum. Babar getting a little move on there. Josh Trump batting at more than 200 runs a strike rate. And here's another pull off the back foot. He doesn't even look at the follow-through. He knows it's good. I think that's in the 6 for him. Second one for the day. Yep, umpire signals 6. Very good ball. Again, just very steady. Picked the length, rocked back, and pulled it for an easy 6. So let's watch the replay here.
That is a lovely shot by Josh Trump. Back on the back foot. Zakil dropping this one just a touch too short. And you do not need an invitation to play that shot if you're Joshua Trump. Quickly onto the back foot and hammering that over deep square leg for yet another 6.
And I appreciate him reinforcing the reference I gave to A.B. de Villiers. That was textbook A.B. de Villiers to me. Slashes it on the offside. Little aerial, but safe. Is not going to carry to the deep cover for 1 run.
That's a good shot. One of Josh Trump's favorite scoring areas is the gap between long off and extra cover. So look for him to intentionally stay on the leg side, stay leg side of the deliveries to score in that area. Something to look for the rest of the time that he bowls, or that he bats, my apologies.
Oh, that's clearly a ball. Stumped. Beautiful delivery. Drew Bobber out. Pushed for the ball, felt for the ball, didn't really get to it. And there was a quick bit of work by the wicketkeeper. There was no real debate about that one.
Boy, Nikhil Kanchan with one of the easiest stumpings that he'll ever have. Fahad Babar just leaning forward way too much and stumbling completely out of his crease. Here we see it on the replay. You could the standing umpire could have made this call. Look how far Fahad Babar stumbles out of the crease, leans forward, goes walking forward. In fact, his front foot became his back foot because his back foot was that far forward. And one of the easiest stumpings that Nikhil Kanchan will ever have. Look at this. By the way, it has to be said, the turn on that delivery. Left arm from around the wicket, drifting in, pitching, and cutting away probably a good 10 degrees. Could not handle that turn, and that is a great piece of bowling. 59 for 2 after 6.3.
You said it, Brian. I think that's what caught my attention to the grip. The ball gripped and turned. And we talked about what the spinners might do to the scoring rate. And we've been maybe a little bit critical about this. We need to get on with it. It's a short game. It's a shootout. We think they need to post 100, 110 at minimum. But the spinners can cause some doubts, can ask some questions, especially if it's going to grip and turn like that. It makes you wonder, right? And you got to pick the length to come forward to and pick your spots there carefully. And that little bit of turn is going to send a message to the dressing room there to say, hold on, how are we going to approach the spinners? Let's see what the next batsman does. He punches it safely off the back foot for a 1. It was a little bit tighter than he expected. They think for an overthrow, but no. The backup is excellent. And off the mark is...
Immediately off the mark, the opening batter. We'll get the name of that batter as soon as possible. But you're, at this point, looking for another 33 deliveries. So you don't have a lot of time. And Josh Trump, who is now 30 from 14, I think is going to be looking to express himself off the back foot, looking to force this one. I think that he's looking for his favorite scoring area, that area between long off and extra cover. Intentionally tries to stay leg side to force the ball in that direction, but a good piece of bowling here by Sivaram to prevent Josh Trump from scoring in that area. Next delivery.
Beautiful drive
down the ground. That is a good looking shot, only for 1 run though. So if you're looking for what a par score is going to be, and we've said a number of times, at minimum you're looking for 100. With 1 delivery remaining here in the 7th over, only 5 remaining, 61 to go. In fact, that is the end of the over. So 61 for 2 is the score. In fact, 62 for 2 is the score after 7. 5 overs remaining. We'll be right back.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go rewards, when you fuel, you save because rewards come first.
At Prairie View Cricket Park, Josh Trump is playing fantastically. New batsman is Saif Badr, who's joined him, who's on just 1 run on strike.
This for me is an important matchup. Josh Trump against captain Justin Dill bowls a very heavy ball. He can be difficult to get away. Short, goes big, backward square, and it lands over the rope by 5 yards. That is the first 6 by Joshua Trump. Absolutely, in fact, my apologies. That is the third 6 by Josh Trump. Over deep fine leg for 6. The score moves on to 67 for 2 after 7.1.
Let's watch his replay, and just beautifully picking up the length and shows his full array of shots. May I say 360 degrees of shots, reinforcing my analogy that he is the real A.B. de Villiers here. Gordon Greenwich, I don't think, hit that shot as often. But once again, just picked the length and showed he's got shots in many areas. That was a beautiful shot, finding that fine leg region for 6 runs.
Well, I mentioned his favorite scoring area is between long off and extra cover. But a short delivery that, number one, pitches on the stumps and then moves away going down the leg side, any batter would love this delivery. Look at this. It's going to be short, and after it pitches, it moves in further. There. Moves in further. So even though he didn't strike that cleanly, it was essentially a top edge, but there is enough there to have it carry all the way for 6. So Josh Trump not wasting any time, wanting to get a move on, and this is going to be something to pay attention to the rest of the way.
Justin Dills has kind of struggled with his length a little bit. He started off bowling 2 different lengths. He bowled short to try to see if there's any life in the wicket, trouble the batsman, and he had a few full deliveries. So I'm going to be curious to see what he does here. He really hasn't bowled a consistent length or troubled the batsman. He's got that height, he's got that bounce, but he's got to really hit that top of off length.
Goes full here, driven down the ground for a single. Nothing wrong with conceding singles at this stage of the innings. Once again, if you're looking to restrict the team from scoring in the neighborhood of 15 or so, of 100, you're only looking at another 28 deliveries. So if you can concede singles, you'll absolutely accept that. The issue here is what happens on the deliveries where there are no singles. He generally bowls a very heavy ball, Mayuresh.
Yep.
But if the line isn't right and if the length isn't right, he can certainly go for runs.
Well, he's dropped fine leg and third man and pulled a deep leg there, so square leg. So my money is it's another short ball coming. Mid-off is in the circle.
Skied, and that's going to go all the way for 6. That is a lovely shot. It has to be said. Saif Badr getting inside of that ball. Only faced 1 delivery so far, but the second delivery sails way over the top of backward square leg for 6.
Yeah, you know, you got to bowl to your field, and he didn't do that. He put this full. It was things on mid on the leg. Let's watch the replay here, and just kind of flicked off the pads, and you can't defend that.
Well, you're absolutely right. Justin Dill is a great bowler, and I think you accurately described. Given the field, a backward square leg, a fine leg, and a third man, you would think that that would dictate a short of length delivery. But this is full going down the leg side, easily helped away for 6 by Saif Badr.
Let's see what adjustments he makes here. Does he have a comeback ball? Seems to take a little pace off it, respectfully watched, and they're pushing for 2. Well run. They need to do that in this stage of the game. It was a slower delivery from what it looked like from here. It was gently pushed to a deep mid-wicket, and very smart by the batsman. They were on top of the game. They pushed for 2 from the very beginning.
So, yeah, again, you only have 26 deliveries left, so you have to push for everything. You don't want to be suicidal, but at the same time, you want to put the pressure on the fielders. Punching that one to mid-wicket, and as Gerard Erasmus coming off of the boundary at deep mid-wicket, very athletic, but could not prevent those 2 runs. So another 2 deliveries remaining here in the 8th. Justin Dill with a job here to close this over out effectively.
Let's cut to backward of square for an easy 1. Again, he's just taking the pace off the ball a little bit here. An easy single. Josh Trump back on strike. We've already had 2 sixes and a couple of singles and doubles here, so a good over for Houston at 77 for 2 with 1 ball to go in the 8th over. Josh on strike. Let's see if Justin Dill can close out this over. It hasn't been a good one.
Josh Trump, just an exciting batter. 38 from 18. What does he do with this last delivery in the 8th?
And just a drive to mid on and cover and field it. No run, dot ball. Very valuable dot ball. Takes us to the end of the 8th over. 77 for 2.
77 for 2. After a short break, the two voices that you will hear will be Mahesh Gogte and the great Munir Majid.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Welcome back. Start of the 9th over. 77 for 2. Josh Trump on strike.
All right, so resuming over number 9. Only 4 overs to go in this innings. 24 deliveries. 77 for 2. Remains to be seen how much can the Hurricanes get. They want to obviously put this out of range or reach for the St. Louis Americans.
It's go time right now. Like as you mentioned, just 4 overs left. They now need to go all out, start posting the big total.
This is a nice flighted delivery, driven down the ground, only going to be a single.
Zaku's bowled well. He's in his second over, 13 without a wicket, but in this over so far, he's 2 dots and a single. So that's mounting pressure. At this point in the game, these dots and just singles are mounting pressure.
And if the Houston Hurricanes have learned anything from their past experiences, they want to keep wickets in hand. The batsmen who are at the crease and settled, they want to take them through this business end of the innings, as Joshua Trump tried to slash it outside the off stump. Misses out, so it's a dot ball.
It's been a sudden pick of a breeze, and the breeze is behind Josh. He's hitting straight, will get reward right now.
And on this one, he goes inside out, and that goes the distance. Beautiful timing from Joshua Trump. He moves on to 44.
Classic shot there, and like I said, the wind was behind him, and he kind of, I think, picked up on that. Beautiful front foot, pick up, over covers, straight drive for 6.
As we see that replay, leans back just a little bit to throw that body weight into the ball and gets the distance. For a 19-year-old, he packs quite a punch.
You said it, you know, we've been singing his praises. He's very young. He's just graduated from high school. He's only been playing in the U.S. for maybe 2 years, moved from Johannesburg to the United States. And you don't expect this level of maturity from a 19-year-old, and it's been very, very impressive. Well, with the spinner, the overs go fast. We're already at 5 deliveries, but that 6 has just taken a little bit of pressure off. But even then, 7 runs of an over is not enough at this stage. How is Zaku going to finish out the over?
And he comes from the forest end. And this one is again slightly short, hit down the ground. The fielder is converging, and that's going to be taken, it seems. Joshua Trump, just as I was saying, the batsmen who are now settled, they need to make sure that they are in there to capitalize on those last few overs. We've seen with the Hurricanes over and over again, as they lose wicket, a new batsman comes in. The task is uphill for them to just come and start hitting right from the word go as we look at this replay.
Yeah, he's been playing so well, but he just picked out the fielder, to be honest, and went straight. Didn't have the distance, and a good solid catch. You know, still going low on the fielder. Had to keep his eyes on it. The sun is in his eyes for the fielders, right in front of him. So that was a good catch. Unfortunately, Josh just picking out the fielder. that's a body blow for the Houston Hurricanes, because they really needed Josh to start the acceleration.
He's played an innings of high impact again and again. Like we said, he scored 50s in the first 2 games, missed out yesterday, only scored 10 runs. But back he is, and he's scored 44. So it looks like the new batsman now is the skipper, Usman Rafiq, or rather that's Matthew Tromp. So
one Tromp replaces another Tromp. His twin brother is in. And let's see if he can just keep going and keep that scoring rate going. Is I believe the end of the 9th over with that wicket, and the score is 84 for 2. The scoreboard hasn't updated yet, but we are now starting the 10th over. New bowler, I believe, is Gerhard Erasmus.
So we're back live in over number 10, only 3 overs to go, and Saif Badr goes inside out. What a beautiful shot, picks up that gap to the right of sweeper cover.
You know, this is casualness with which he dismissed that ball, to be honest. Just stood there and had his gap picked out and just smacked through the gap.
Yeah, and Gerard Erasmus will have to make sure, with only 3 overs to go, we're officially in the death stage of this innings. He cannot afford to bowl any half volleys. He'll have to bring out his variations, try and vary his pace, length just a little bit, but tossing it up in that slot outside the off stump is playing in the arc for Saif Badr, and this is straight up in the air. The fielder
it's dropped. I think it's dropped. Matthew must have been kicking himself, because that was not a great delivery. He was going down the leg. He was full. He was there to be picked. I think he skied it top edged, and I think the fielder will kick himself next for dropping that one. It is in this situation a fairly simple catch. It did go high, but it wasn't very far. The fielder did not have to move much, and unfortunately dropped the catch.
Yeah, and Gerard Erasmus comes back again. Like we said, he would have to vary his length. He did pretty well pulling the length back just a little bit so that the batsman cannot get underneath the bounce of the ball and get that elevation. So last 2 deliveries have been pretty decent as he comes in again from the highway. 290 and hit inside out. Long off gives it a chase, but it's a losing battle. Just pings off the bat of Matthew Tromp. He's a sweet timer of the ball.
If you thought that was a replay, it wasn't. It was just another repeat of the same delivery, same shot, same outcome. Let's watch the replay here, the actual replay. Again, the delivery is looped up, wide and full. And Matthew said, "Thank you very much. I did that a few balls ago. I know exactly what to do," and just pushed it away through the covers for 4 runs.
And this one, again, like we said, after erring on that first delivery, Gerard has done pretty well to pull his length back.
And Gerard, you know, he's a senior player. He's the captain of the Namibia team. He was nominated as the ICC Associate Country Player of the Year in January, so he's got to take a little more responsibility here.
And he tends to do that quite a lot. We've seen that on a number of occasions where he bowls it from behind the crease, surprising Matthew on that occasion. At the end of 10, 93 for 3. Don't go anywhere. The last 2 overs of this innings are coming up.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
All right, welcome back. 12 deliveries left, 93 for 3. You know, you are getting close to that target that you and Brian were talking about. You know, minimum 100, 110, 120 to be really competitive. The conditions are going to get continuously better. 93 for 3. Winner, where do you think the inning sits right now with 12 balls to go?
I'll give them anywhere between 22 to 30 runs. These kind of totals vary a lot depending on how your batters go about the task. And this one, Saif Badr, goes downtown to the right of the side screen, and it goes the distance in that wilderness. We've talking about that a lot, so that ball might take some retrieving, Mayurish.
There was no doubt in that one. That was a 6 by a mile. Again, full delivery, just clears the front foot and launches it. The wind is behind him, and that was an exquisite hit. Just cleared the side screen, and unfortunately, the gentlemen at long on, long off are going to have to go fetch the ball.
Yeah, and I'm pretty surprised that one of Sam Das or Justin Dill is not bowling this over. It's a big risk bowling that left-arm spinner into the wind, especially given that there are 2 overs to go in this innings and the batsmen are looking to go downtown and tonk everything out of the park. Saif Badr hails from the subcontinent, played a lot of his cricket in Pakistan. Really good player of spin bowling.
You said it. I mean, you expect at the death to have the seamers on, trying to hit those Yorkers. It's a bit of a risk, putting on a spinner, and let's see what happens here.
And this one, he waits on that ball, content to just get a single and give the strike to his younger partner, Matthew Tromp. 10 deliveries to go now. 100 is up. So, Brian Walters, they're defying your prediction. With 10 balls to go, it could be anywhere between 120 odd or so.
It is set up for a great total here, I think. Pushed off the back foot through to long off, just get the single there. The field right now is all the, straight fielders are deep, mid wicket, long on, long off, and deep cover. So the straight shots are full cover and not giving anything to go cut behind square right now.
Yeah, and the bowler, Sivaram, would be better off bowling just that kind of line and length, just pacing up those deliveries and bowling them slightly back of length. Not on this occasion, tosses it up. Literally, the invitation for Saif Badr was there. You don't want to try that again, Saif Badr. He's gonna take you downtown, ball after ball. Mind you, he had 3 failures in this minor league so far, but he, being a senior statesman, Hurricanes have shown a lot of trust in him, and as you see that, a nothing delivery, Mayurish.
Yeah, he picked the length quickly, right? So it's a tough situation for Silva. He can bowl full, and if he drops it just a bit short, he's got no protection backward or square. And with the turn and the grip, the ball is not coming on that fast. Babler was able to just rock back, wait for the turn, and just pull it. Good clean hit over deep mid wicket.
Yeah, I cannot be sure about the thinking of the skipper. Maybe they're hoping to get some break and turn the ball away from these batsmen, but both of them are very accomplished. And especially Saif Badr is quite a player when it comes to facing the spinners. I think the best option for Sivakumar would be to try his arm balls or just shoot it into the pads, vary his pace, but he cannot toss them up like he did on that previous occasion. Here he comes again, and he does exactly that, and there wasn't enough time for Saif Badr to get under the pitch of the ball. Mayurish?
Yeah, it ended up just stopping and slowing down on the batsman. He had to kind of baseball that shot through to long on for a single, which is acceptable at this time of the match, but the 2 sixes already make this a good over with 1 delivery to go. This could end up becoming a very expensive over.
Yeah.
Playing a miss. Able to get out of the over with just a dot ball, which is gold dust. At the end of the over, 15 runs conceded nonetheless. So 11 overs up, 108 for 3.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
All right, folks, so over number 11 has been bowled, the last over of the innings, and as we were wondering, one of the seamers should be closing the innings, so as expected, it is Sam Das. 2 overs for 18 runs, and he picked a wicket in his first spell, so that may be the best option given where this game stands. The Hurricanes have got 108. Mayuresh, how much would you give them in this final over?
Minimum 12 runs. You have to go for that. 2 runs a ball is standard at this point of the game. You have to go for that unless you're going to get wickets and dot balls. With Sitsu up at about 120, and I think you and Brian talked about at the beginning, I think that would be a just perfect competitive score for this wicket and the situation.
And they've got so many options. There's still somebody like Hamza Bangash, Usman Rafiq in the dugout. They won't need all of them. Here's Sam Das, and this one is over pitch in the slot. Another half volley. What's going on, St. Louis Americans? There are too many freebies in these final couple of overs.
And I love what that shot is, that Badr did not try to overhit it. His head stayed steady. It was just a classical timing shot. Hit it straight over the bowler's head. Nothing expansive. Kept his head straight, and just a beautiful straight drive for 6 runs.
If you ask Saif Badr what kind of balls he would expect or would like to face, it's that exact ball. Juicy half volley. And this one again, it's another one. Same kind of delivery, probably slightly different length, but the outcome is the same. Saif Badr moves on to 42 of just 15 deliveries, Mayurish.
This is now getting, he's in that zone, because this is a different length, but he's just seeing the ball perfectly well right now. Steady eye, steady feet, and just hitting through the line perfectly. Beautiful shot, 6 runs. He's just in the zone right now. He's seeing the ball beautifully. Das has a challenge up against him. What is he going to bowl? I haven't seen a change of pace just yet. He's tried the full delivery for a Yorker, hasn't worked. He's pulled it back, it hasn't worked. He's going to have to go to plan C right now.
Yeah, and it's often a cliche in cricket. How many times people like us who analyze the game keep talking about those good old Yorkers, but they're so far and few. And I'm sure all these bowlers practice their Yorkers in the nets. Remains to be seen if this one is slightly foolish. And there you see, if you get the basics right, goes really full, hits the popping crease, was literally just in and around that popping crease, so results in a dot ball.
One delivery for Das now. He's had a good comeback right there after 2 consecutive 6s. Badr right now must be feeling like he can hit anything for 6 right now, so he's kind of upset with himself, but he just has to stay there and steady. He's made a big difference. Team's already up to 120. At this point, everything extra runs is gold.
Here he comes again from Highway 290, and another very full delivery, but this one, the long handle comes out. Saif Badr, that's a mini helicopter, because that was a very full delivery. He couldn't afford to swing his arm, so it was almost a short arm jab.
Like I said, his eye's in, and right now he's just in the zone. And well said, Munir. He just didn't do too much. All these shots that he's hit, he hasn't tried to do too much. He's kept a steady head and just watched the ball and played it on merit, and he's picked that straight line. It's a safe shot for him, hit it over the bowler, and the long off and long on are not straight enough right now to cut that off.
Boy, that's why you back your big players, your pros. The day they come good, they're going to snatch the game. They'll make sure that they put you in a winning position. And with 3 6s and 4 deliveries in the final over and the 2 in the previous over, wow, the Houston Hurricanes are causing serious impact right now. This one is a change of length, a little glove back to the keeper. Nikhil Kanchan completes the catch, and that brings the downfall of Saif Badr. He's out for 46.
Well done to Das. He tried something different. He just took a little bit off, a little short of a length. That was the first time Badr tried to do something a little exotic, trying to do a flick off the pads. Didn't quite come off. We see here coming in, bowled a different length. I think it was a bit off in the pace, and just a little flick off the gloves. Didn't quite, get the middle of the bat, and easy dismissal at the end of the day. So well done for Das. It's a tough situation to bowl in. To be in the last over, batsman has nothing to lose and is connecting 3 6s in the over already. But right now, that W is not just a W, it's a dot ball with 1 more delivery to go. In the shootout of 12 overs, this next delivery could be the difference of the match.
Yeah, and that fine leg was also inside the 30-yard circle. So Saif Badr was trying to improvise and get it over that fielder. Didn't get on top of the bounce to get that scoop shot. So that brought his downfall. Last ball of the innings coming up. Hamza Bangash looks like is the new batsman in, and that's a good save. Might have gone for a boundary there. So that closes the innings for the Houston Hurricanes. They've put on quite a challenging total. 125 for 4 at the end of 12. And when the St. Louis Americans come out to chase, it's going to be quite a challenge for them. They'll have to get after the bowling from the word go. What do you make of this innings, Mayurish?
I think it's a commendable innings, to be honest. They were smart cricket shots in that innings, nothing rash. It was set up nicely, a good platform from Joshua Trump and Babar, and a good flourish at the end with Save Badar. I think they made a competitive score. 124 runs on the board is going to put pressure for the St. Louis Americans. I don't think it's an easy target to reach, but it's not out of the woods. I think we have a competitive match on our hands.
And the Hurricanes are going to feel really good about the fact that Save Badar came good today. Joshua Trump had been amongst the runs, but the fact that Save Badar played that innings, so that's going to create a huge impact. And as we look at the bowling card, Sam Das was pretty good in his 3 overs. Bowled with a lot of pace and aggression, hit the deck. He got a couple of wickets. Justin Dill was his opening partner. He bowled 2 overs for 27. Gerard Erasmus in his first over was taken apart by Joshua Trump, but came back pretty strong in his second over. So he was the most economical bowler, 2 overs for 16. And then Sandeep Sivaram bowled 3 overs for 27, got a wicket. And Zahid Zakil was pretty good with his left arm orthodox, but he got taken apart in the 19th over. So there you see it, only 4 extras. They've been pretty disciplined, Mayuresh.
It was good from a extras perspective, but I think they'll go back and wonder on some of the lengths they bowled. I think they gave the batsmen a few easy strokes there.
All right, folks, so that's the news from the middle in this powerhouse fixture. At the end of 12 overs in this reduced overs competition, the Houston Hurricanes have managed 125 runs at the end of 12. And we'll be back with the chase of the St. Louis Americans in about 10 minutes from now. Stay tuned.
Remaining here in the first over. Appeal for catch and given.
He comes in again from the Highway 290 end. This is beautifully played. Shot of the match so far from Fahad.
Bowling to Josh Trump. Skied in the air deep. Oh, that is a spectacular piece of fielding down there. Did not take the catch, but he saved 5. The third over. Josh Trump hammers it square. That's going to be 4. A shot of authority. Up and over the top. That is a loose delivery from Gerard Erasmus. Is Zahid Zakil bowling from the
That's a great shot. 200 runs a strike rate. And here's another pull off the back foot. He doesn't even look at the follow through. He knows it's good. I think that's
bowled, or that he bats. My apologies.
Oh, that's clearly a ball. Story stumped. Beautiful delivery.
To get away. Short goes big, backward square, and it lands over the rope by 5 yards. That is the skied, and that's going to go all the way for 6. That is a lovely shot.
He's behind Josh. He's hitting straight. Will get reward right now.
And on this one, he goes inside out, and that goes the distance. And he comes from the forest end. And this one is again slightly short, hit down the ground. The fielder is converging, and that's going to be back live in over number 10. Only 3 overs to go, and Save Badar goes inside out. What a beautiful shot. The off stump is playing in the arc for Save Badar, and this is straight up in the air. The fielder at
it's dropped. I think it's dropped.
Been pretty decent as he comes in again from the Highway 290 end and hit inside out. Long off gives it a chase, but totals vary a lot depending on how your batters go about the task. And this one, Save Badar goes downtown, pacing up those deliveries and bowling them slightly back of length. Not on this occasion. Toss the dugout. They won't need all of them. Here's Sam Das, and this one is over pitch in the slot. Juicy half volley. And this one again, it's another one, same kind of delivery. Here he comes again from Highway 290 and another very full delivery, but this one, the long handle comes out. Things are causing serious impact right now. This one is a change of length, a little glove back to the keeper. Nikhil Kanchan completes the catch, and that brings it down.
You're watching the Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship, brought to you by our 2023 partners.
like parts.
Welcome back to the Prairie View Cricket Complex. We have a sort of a lightning round, if you will, of a match, a 12-over match. First innings, the Houston Hurricanes were sent in to bat by St. Louis Americans. They put 125 runs on the board. And so St. Louis Americans will be coming in to face the bowling attack of the Houston Hurricanes. We'll talk about the bowling attack in a minute, Munir, but in the meantime, before we get started, there's a couple of people who we need to acknowledge. First of all, the fact that we are here in Houston, Texas, in the Houston area, and we have the opportunity to have Brent, Jonathan, Christian, and Nicholas who are watching in Sydney, Australia. Brent is the uncle of Matthew and Joshua Trump. Jonathan, Christian, and Nicholas are Josh's cousins. So Brent, Jonathan, Christian, and Nicholas, good afternoon for us, good morning for you all. Thank you so much for following. Your two relatives, Joshua and Matthew, are absolutely excellent and really love to have them. We'll talk about the other family in just a second, but I wanted to acknowledge those as Mohammad Asif has the new ball at the top of his run-up at the forest end of the ground, the former Pakistani international. Munir, going to be frenetic 12 overs.
Absolutely. They're chasing a big total, and they're up against the likes of Mohammad Asif and Usman Shinwari. And the very first delivery, no surprises there. They have to hit the ground running. Positive intent. The outcome is what they wanted, but not the manner in which they intended for that boundary to come. They'll take it. As we look at this replay, and Brian Walters take us through this.
Looking to attack, coming down and looking to drive through the offside. A thick inside edge runs to deep fine leg. So not exactly sure who that opener is. Number 44. We don't have his number on the card, but we'll get the details on all of that in a second. But the first delivery from Mohammad Asif goes away through fine leg for 4. So another 122 runs needed from another 71 balls. So it's not going to be easy. But if you have 10 wickets in hand and you only have 70-odd balls to face, now 71 after that first delivery, you can play with a certain amount of freedom. And I think that's what you'll see here from these two openers. Mohammad Asif again. Next delivery, hammered down the ground. This is going to be fielded at deep long on. That is Mukhtar Ahmed down there at long on to limit the damage to 1 run. So St. Louis Americans off and running. We'll get the details on the specific openers in a minute. Number 44 we do not have, and then the other opener does not have a number on the back of his shirt, Munir. So we'll have to get the details on exactly who these openers are as soon as we can. But the big picture, we're looking at exactly another 121 runs needed in the next 70 deliveries. Mohammad Asif again bowling from the forest end. Dropped off the front of the face to short third, no run.
I was calling their game last evening, Brian, and one thing that stuck out about the St. Louis Americans was the number of left-handers in the batting order. I think the top 3 was left-handers, and then came Gerard Erasmus at 4, and then a couple more left-handers, and then Justin Dill. The opener yesterday was Kranti Kumar. So it seems like he is, in fact, the one who was walked out. And this one is straight up in the air. Matthew Trump is in business. He's coming under the ball. It went sky high. Matthew Trump, no nerves whatsoever. I must say the Trump brothers have quite a lot of sense of occasion when mom and dad are at the ground and family is watching in down under. They just lift their game somehow.
Well, they both lift their games, but I have to say, for the Trump brothers, this is as straightforward a catch as you'll ever have. Both excellent fielders, lofted. It was an in-swinger. You see Mohammad Asif with the arms up in the air immediately as that ball goes in the air because he knows that Matthew Trump is not going to drop that catch. Straightforward catch. He's probably 10 yards in front of the boundary right here in front of us at deep backward square leg. The first wicket goes down. 6 runs on the board, but the first wicket down, the score is 6 for 1.
And oftentimes, for folks like us who are calling the action, just from the body language of the players from the outside, Brian, when they're settling under a high ball, you can almost tell with certainty whether the fielder is going to hold on to the ball or not. Matthew Tromp looks so confident. The sun is out. He was looking straight into the sun, and he had absolutely no problems completing that catch. And as we look at that replay again, the importance of length. Mohammad Asif just keeping his length back ever so slightly, so it's not easy for the batsman to get under the ball and get that distance.
That is not an unimportant point that you just made, Munir, because I will tell you, you know that I umpired 2 matches yesterday, and you can tell from the body language of the players who's going to catch it and who's going to drop it. Matthew Trump never for a second looked like he was going to drop that. So the new batter in is Gerardo Erasmus, coming in to face Mohammad Asif. Full and defended into the offside. Quick single taken, and that gets through the fielder. That's at short cover. That's going to be a single. But the bigger point is that you can tell who is confident enough to take the catches and who is not. And Matthew Trump, who is an excellent fielder anywhere on the field, and certainly a deep backward square leg, you are always expect him to take that catch.
Absolutely, Brian. Well summed up, and your company is rubbing off. Have I ever made an unimportant point sitting right next to you? And this one, he steps down the ground, long on isn't business, and that should have been taken. It was straight down his throat. Probably had to go about 10 yards to his right. Looks like it's Karthik Gattapalli. In fact, it's Mukhtar Ahmed who's the fielder. He's a very safe pair of hands. So that's very unlike Mukhtar, as that replay would be coming up shortly on your screen.
Mukhtar Ahmed, who is a very good fielder up close. Haven't seen him in the deep very often, but you would think this is in the air long enough for him to be able to take it. Here you see, looking right in, you would think that ball would have stuck. It did not stick. Ends up dropping. A pretty straightforward chance. How much difference will that make in the context of this match? We will see. 1 over is done. The score is 8 for 1.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
Eight for 1, the high express pace of the left armer, Usman Shinwari, about to commence from the highway end, the southern end of the ground, and he will be bowling to Gerard Erasmus. And Munir, after this delivery, we have a couple of shout-outs we need to make. Scoop shot attempted, does not get it off. So the first delivery is a dot ball. So Munir, playing for the Dallas Exforia Giants, is somebody who is a former teammate of mine, Ankit Kera. Ankit Kera has 2 children who absolutely love cricket. There's first Kabir Kera, and that's his son, and his daughter Mihir Kera. Kabir and Mihir, absolutely lovely to have you all watching. Please keep watching, and one day I want both of you to replace your dad on the cricket field. So in the meantime, Usman Shinwari bowling from the southern end of the ground, looking to bowl to Gerard Erasmus. Reaching for this one. Not quite. In fact, there's a signal given wide by umpire Owen Brown. So another bonus run given here to the St. Louis Americans.
Yeah, the signal came almost like an afterthought. Owen Brown gave it almost a second before he decided that that indeed was a wide ball. And rightly so. The angle is always taking it away. And mind you, Usman Shinwari, we talked a lot about Saif Badr. He's another one of those pros who's going to be the spearhead of this pace attack besides Mohammad Asif. And in this 12-over format, a couple of bowlers are allowed to bowl 3 overs. There's no doubt Usman Shinwari is going to be one of them. Nicely played by Gerard Erasmus. A rather subdued start so far. Brian Walters, I think they would have liked to hit the ground running and really make a big dent in that total during this power play. They moved on to 10 in the second over.
10 in the second over. Their current run rate is 7.5. They need to be scoring at the rate of 10.8 from here to win. So essentially, they're looking to score 2 runs off of every ball, effectively, the rest of the way. So it's not going to be easy, but what works in their favor, the St. Louis Americans, is that there's 10 wickets in the hutch. The first wicket has already fallen, but there's 9 wickets still. And in a compressed game like this, only another 63 balls to go. You would think that these openers have sort of, well, one opener and then the number 3 batter, Gerard Erasmus, has a certain amount of freedom to play his shots. But that's not going to be easy, as you mentioned, against bowlers of the likes of Usman Shinwari.
Absolutely, Brian, as Usman Shinwari comes in again from the highway end. And this one is back of length, and that's beautifully pulled. The invitation was there, and he was so quick to pick the length, rock onto the back foot, and dispatch it from its presence. So a much welcome boundary, and there's no doubt that they'll have to take a leaf out of the innings of the Houston Hurricanes, and a couple of batsmen would have to go absolutely berserk if they have to have any chance of chasing this. Joshua Tromp went at a strike rate in excess of 200, and Saif Badr, by the time he was done, was striking at almost 300. So they'll need a couple of those innings, and no better men who can raise their hands than Gerard Erasmus and Kranti Kumar.
Kranti Kumar, the left-hander, Gerard Erasmus, currently at the non-strikers end. From Namibia, brilliant bowler and enterprising batter. We'll see how he goes the rest of the way. Great delivery, going past the outside edge. Caught Kranti Kumar on the crease. Usman Shinwari can be a very difficult bowler. Left arm angle, bowling, slanting across the right-handers, but going down the line to the left-handers with a slight bit of movement away. Here you see on the replay, coming from the top of your screen there, pitching and leaving, passing the outside edge. Look where wicketkeeper Joshua Trump takes that ball up around chest height. So he's definitely bowling gas, and it's going to be up to the Houston Hurricanes to make sure that if there's anything that comes off the edge, that it is contained. Nobody in the deep behind third. Third is inside the boundary or inside the 30-yard circle, so he has to keep those lines tight.
Here he comes again from the highway end. And this time the batsman comes down the track. You don't want to do that to somebody like Usman Shinwari, but they'll accept these 2 runs. No harm done. And looks like he's made his ground. Usman Shinwari was just ball watching. He would have wanted to get to the stumps much sooner than that.
That was very enterprising. Looking for the pull. Here you see on the replay, the top edge sails right over the top. Advancing down the wicket was Kranti Kumar. Josh Trump with the gloves on, sprinting back some 35 or so yards, not able to get to it. And then there you see right at the last bit of work there, the diving attempt. That is Kranti Kumar getting back inside his crease. And with Josh Trump having run all the way down, almost all the way to the boundary, the fielder coming in to back up the keeper's end. Received the throw from in the deep, but not able to effect the run out. So 2 precious runs there added for St. Louis. And you're going to see this type of frenetic activity, one might think, towards the back end of this innings.
Yeah, and it's a good hard track. The sun has been belting down, temperature around 100 degrees. So we're seeing that bounce of this wicket. The ball is really carrying through as Usman Shinwari comes in again. And again, you see that express pace, body line, just slightly back of length. So the challenge here for the St. Louis American batsman against Usman Shinwari is getting on top of that length and dispatching it. We'll come back to that point after the short commercial break at the end of 2. It's 17 for 1.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
All right, so over number 3 is about to resume. No surprise, the ball is still semi-new, just 2 overs old. So the magician, the man of the wrist, Mohammad Asif, he's going to continue. He was the exponent of one of the very famous deliveries that I think he invented. And that one, as we were praising Mohammad Asif, he pitches one outside the off stump, gives the invitation, and when you're bowling that kind of a length, the batsmen are going to go over the top. They can get under the bounce of the ball, Brian.
Munir, at this length, the ball really needs to be on the stumps. You really don't want to bowl that length in anyway, but you certainly don't want to bowl it with width. Inside the power play, all that Kranthi Kumar needed to do was get bat on that. He'd get runs. It turns out that he got enough bat on it to sail away over cover for 6. But at that length and that line, that is a bad combination. Mohammad Asif, a much better bowler than that type of delivery would indicate. Obviously, one of the better bowlers in Pakistan really in the world for the last several years. But he's certainly capable of bowling a better delivery than that one.
And that ball in which he specializes, or which he pioneered, which I was referring to before he was dispatched for a 6, is that wobbly seam delivery. Most of the seamers who swing the ball, they point the seam either to fine leg or to slip, and then the ball goes that way while it's new. But Mohammad Asif holds it straight down with a split finger grip, and then a wobbly seam. You just don't know where it's going to land on the seam and go. It could go either way. As again, he bowls it onto the pads. As I keep applauding Mohammad Asif for what he brings to the table, he keeps throwing a surprise one out of the hat. One over pitch outside the off stump, and now this one down the leg side.
On this replay, I am sure that you will see this is well down the leg side, bowling around the wickets, slanting it in, and certainly going down the leg side. All Kranthi Kumar needed to do was get some bat on it. Once again, look, Munir, you heard me say this 100 times. As a right-handed bowler to a left-handed batter, for me, the better angle is over the wicket to slant the ball across him from inside the line. It's easier to get inside the line as a left-hander if you're going to be bowling around the wicket. Here you see on the replay, from that angle, the ball slanting down. All Kranthi Kumar needed to do was help that ball in that direction. So sailing away easily for 6. Once again, look at that delivery. Outside the line of off stump, slanting down, just some bat on it, any amount of bat on it, with the pace at which Mohammad Asif is bowling. That is always going to go for 6.
I've been also wanting to say that the angle, of course, is bringing the ball into the stumps from around the wickets. But the pace of Mohammad Asif is such that the batsman can take the liberty to improvise. And as you saw, the batsman stepped outside the off stump, so he manufactured that shot. And this one, has he pulled off a stunner? Has the keeper, Ehsan Shah? Not really. In fact, it's Joshua Trump who's got the gloves. But this one just flew over his head. So this one is proving to be an expensive over, a 6, a 6, and a 4. And this one is just sheer luck.
For me, Munir, as I just said, I think the better angle is over the wicket. So he did switch to over the wicket here. So slanting the ball across Kranthi Kumar, found the outside edge there, but it sails up and to the left of Josh Trump, diving away to his left, not quite able to reach it. And so, once again, it's probably a moral victory for Mohammad Asif, but it still sails away, deflected off the glove of Josh Trump to the boundary for 4.
Yeah, what's happening here is he's improvising, so fortune favors the brave. And again, he comes down the track this time, gets to the pitch of the ball and drives it handsomely. A good effort by, looks like that's Karthik Gattapalli at mid-off, dives and saves it.
Ahmed.
So it's Mukhtar, number 24.
Mukhtar Ahmed, generally good fielder anywhere in the field that he is. He dropped the catch earlier on, but for the most part, very safe pair of hands, and he does well there, limiting the damage to 1 run. So 2 balls remaining here in the 3rd. I'll tell you what, this game is by no means over. St. Louis is off and running. They have 34 runs on the board with 2 deliveries remaining in the 3rd. So they're scoring at the rate of 9.86 and over. They need to score essentially at about 2 runs a ball the rest of the way to win, but they have 9 wickets in hand. Folks, this game is not getting any closer. Do not go anywhere.
And this one seems to be angling down the pads. That appeal might have just been a tactic to repeal. Umpire Myron James, he's been around in this cricket circle long enough to know those tactics, and he signals a wide.
There was a very scant response to that appeal. Easily this ball heading down the leg side. Look, nothing close. And a half-hearted appeal there by Joshua Trump. More in anticipation or hope, probably, that would have been a judge, maybe coming off the body of the batter. Nothing close to the body of the batter, so it certainly goes for a wide. Still 2 balls remaining here in the third.
And this one is a better delivery, at least gets his line right this time. The previous delivery was more of the bearings he would like to use for a left-hander. So this time he comes outside the off stump. Again, Brian, that pace of Mohammad Asif, in spite of having that movement, the batsmen are taking that liberty and moving around and improvising and making him change his initial plans, basically. They're using the depth of the crease, they're using the width of the crease and putting that pressure on Mohammad Asif.
Flip side of that coin is that he's a premier bowler who knows how to make the adjustment. This is driven in the air. This is going to be over the top of mid-wicket. Long run from mid-wicket. They get at least 2. And I think that's all they will get, as this is fielded at deep on the boundary. A couple of runs to close things out here in the third. The St. Louis Americans, in pursuit of 126 runs, are 38 for 1 after 3. We'll be right back.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
All right, so things have taken an interesting turn in that last over. If you're a Hurricanes fan and you thought you've got enough runs on the board and you can sit back, put your feet on the couch, and even turn some soft music while cherishing where your team stands, the tables have turned just a little bit. That last over from Mohammad Asif, couple of 6s, a 4, and like we were saying, Brian, that somebody would have to go berserk in this chase, and Kranti Kumar is kind of playing that Joshua Trump, Saif Badr-like innings for the St. Louis Americans right now. No surprises. Spin. Throw off the dice from skipper Usman Rafiq, going to his premier spinner.
Himself.
Oh, that's Usman.
Usman Rafiq has been an excellent bowler for the length of time that we've known him, obviously. Based here in the Houston area, we've known him for a number of years. Bowling to the left-hander, not surprising that he would bring himself on, turning that ball away from Kranti Kumar.
And Usman being Usman, he's a very keen observer of the game. He was fielding at covers. He's been noticing how Kranti likes to move in his crease. So he's just sizing him up, didn't release the ball. And Kranti, as expected, doesn't need a sider. First ball from Usman was already improvising. So the game of cat and mouse is on, Brian Walters.
Oh, my goodness. So this is the last over of the power play. So 2 fielders allowed outside the circle. And once again, cat and mouse. But this time it is Kranti Kumar who pulls away, even though in fairness he appeared to have been rubbing his eyes. So there might have been maybe some sweat that had dripped down. By the way, it's still relatively hot. It's not quite as hot as it's been, Munir, for the last several weeks, but air temperature is probably around 98, 99 degrees, so still pretty oppressive.
Yeah, and finally we have a delivery dropped pretty short. The fielder at fine leg was inside the circle and goes for a boundary to fine leg. But that previous exchange, I think Kranti Kumar had the last laugh, not just with the boundary, but Usman pulled out the first time and Kranti pulled out the second time, so even Stevens.
Well, looking at this replay, I think you'll find that this ball is way too straight. From around the wicket, very flat, and a little bit of bounce. At that length and that line, unless that ball is turning significantly, that will always be an easy hit for the lefty. And certainly with fine leg inside the circle, as you'd expect for a spinner, you're not going to get much purchase. You're not going to get much success out of those types of deliveries. Usman is a good enough bowler to know that that ball needs to be outside the line of off stump.
Yeah, and it was very short as well.
Yeah.
Gave too much time for Kranti to, and now he's moving again around his crease. Really have to applaud the style or the approach at least. He is ready to take the bull by its horns, chasing a big total. He's come out all guns blazing. He sent the message across that we, the Americans, are going to stand up to this hurricane of yours. This is very interesting. 4 deliveries to go in this over. Usman Rafiq continues. And this one is again slightly short. Usman needs to get this right. The fielder is going to give it a chase. It's going to be a couple of runs. 6 of this over in the first 3 deliveries.
That's good work by the fielder and the deep running back from fine leg. But once again, that delivery you mentioned, Munir, a little too straight and slightly too short. Going down the leg side and just helping it down the leg side was Kranti Kumar. Kumar now up to 37 from 14, so he's gotten the memo. He needs to score quickly. Next delivery, looking to pull it around the corner, half-hearted appeal, not collected cleanly by Joshua Trump. So if that was appeal for a catch, certainly would not have been given. 2 delivers remaining, but we're probably even Stevens. Another 83 runs needed in the next 50 balls, which sounds like a very steep mountain to climb. But Munir, in modern day cricket, especially with 9 wickets in hand, that's not necessarily a very big ask.
And the line of attack continues to be the same. And this time Hamza Bangash, who's fielding there at short fine leg, stops the ball. What's very interesting to me is Usman's strength is the revs he puts on the ball and gets the break off the surface. Might have been playing on his mind the way Kranti Kumar has batted. He's tried to go flat at times and hasn't really tossed anything up and tried to get that spin on the ball. And this one is going to be an overthrow. But luckily for the Hurricanes, no harm done. And with that, the over comes to a close. 7 of Usman's first over. At the end of forward, it's 44 from 1. And from next over, Mayuresh would be joining Brian Walters. So we'll be right back after this little break.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
44 for 1, 4 overs bowled. The run rate is 11. And I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, we're looking here at a photo finish. It's not going to be close. In fact, if you notice, the St. Louis Americans are scoring at a rate slightly above where they need to be scoring. They need another 82 runs in the next 48 balls, which translates to 10.25 runs and over. Mayuresh Gokte, can they get there?
By the looks of it, they're on track. And, you know, Munir talked about body language. And, you know, since that drop catch, the body language has been so different between the two teams. Just the 2 batsmen at the crease are exuding a lot of confidence. Just in their shot selection, they're not holding back in any way. And all the Houston fielders, you sense this like they're waiting for somebody else to do something. The body language is definitely not as high energy as it should be for a team that's posted to score, that should be imposing scoreboard pressure.
Well, looking at Kranti Kumar, 38 from 17. Gerardo Erasmus, who can be a big hitter, only has faced 5 balls and scored 4 runs. But ladies and gentlemen, there is going to be a couple of twists in this match the rest of the way. So taking the ball now from the forest end is Hamza Bangash. Hamza Bangash, a seam bowler, not as quick as the opening bowlers Mohammad Asif and Usman Shinwari, but can sometimes be difficult to get away. Bowling now to Kranti Kumar, 38 from 17.
And a reminder, is the end of the power play, so the fielding restrictions are over. We have a deep, a long off, long on, deep mid-wicket and cow and backward of square on the boundary.
Here's Hamza Bangash. Full attempted drive. That comes off the outside edge. That's going to run away for 4. So you'll take these fortuitous runs if you're the St. Louis Americans. Signal 4 there from umpire Myron James. And let's call it quasi-team manager Jessica will be happy with what she sees here from the St. Louis Americans. 4 runs off the first. 4 runs off the first ball of the 5th as Jessica protests in vain because her team has got a good start to this over. Here now is Hamza Bangash again. Full and driven back to the bowler himself, a no run.
Good comeback delivery. I think that last delivery sort of epitomizes this innings. The St. Louis Americans are being bold. They're getting some fortune every now and then in their favor, but nothing seems to be working right now for the Houston Hurricanes.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've been corrected. That is not Kranthi Kumar at the crease. It's Zia Zakil. Either way, sliced away. That is going to be a high top edge, and it's flying away over deep fine leg for 6. So whatever his name is, whether it be Zia Zakil or Kranthi Kumar, the important thing is that he gets 6 more runs for his side, sailing away over deep fine leg for 6.
He's making a name for himself.
Well played. Well played.
Which one we don't know just yet, but he's playing with superb confidence. He's, we saw him play Shinwari, Mohammad Asif with a little bit of disdain at times, and here he is just being attacking, taking them on, and he's getting a reward.
Well, sometimes the sincerest form of defense is attack. And so you take a couple steps down to a bowler of the pace of these opening bowlers for Houston. This is going to be, I believe, wide. Yep, signal wide by umpire Myron James. When you take the attack to the opposition, you certainly sometimes can throw them off their game. So hammering that one away over deep fine leg for 6, and the very next delivery is delivered wide by Hamza Bangash.
Yeah, they really need to get some tightening going here in the bowling. They need to get a game plan going and just get a few dot balls, a little bit of pressure development somewhere.
Played into the covers this time, picking up those singles. So important to get those singles. Even if you're facing somewhere around 2 runs a ball, at this stage the required rate is now 9.55. But when you are facing that type of a target, sometimes you can fall into the trap of looking to hit 6s and 4s. But you can get there sometimes by just pushing the ball into the gaps, getting singles. The important thing is that you keep the scoreboard ticking and take advantage of any scoring opportunities.
Yeah, the Seattle Americans have had positive intent. Even despite an early wicket, they've just had positive intent in everything they've done. Valuable dot ball there.
Definitely. Good delivery. A time from Hamza Bangash, who generally bowls a good delivery. Myra, sometimes I've seen Hamza Bangash bowl, and it almost appears that he misses his run-up right before he starts to gather to deliver the ball. So it's going to be something to pay attention to as he goes through his spell. But my sense is that given the situation, you're going to see him bring his best to the table. His next delivery played down the ground, should just be a single, as long on comes off the boundary to field, and there's no run. So that is a single to close things out here in the 5th. 12 runs coming from that over. Very expensive over in the context of this game. The St. Louis Americans need another 70 runs off 42 balls. The score is 56 for 1.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go rewards, when you fuel, you save because rewards come first.
Welcome back. Start of the 6th over. St. Louis Americans 55 for 1, chasing a target of 126. They are in the lead right now and pursuing this quite handsomely, to be honest. Positive intent. We don't know who that batsman is on 49 of 21. We've had a name glitch there. But as we mentioned, we were not going to forget who he is at the end of the game, because he's just had an impact, batting at more than 200 runs strike rate. Gerhard Erasmus, he's just playing a part right now. He hasn't had to take on much pressure. He's rotating the strike. With the Seattle Americans are going to have to change the pace a little, force them into out balls, slow the pace up a little bit.
Sweeps this one away to deep square leg. That is Karthik Gatipale down there at square leg. Good strong throw for a single. For me, this is the, without putting too fine a point on it and without being overly exaggerative, if you will, this over will have a tremendous impact on what happens the rest of the game. The off spinner, Captain Usman Rafiq, who will be spinning the ball away from the lefty and into the righty. You would have to think that these batters would have to be looking to attack the spinner. But Usman Rafiq, over the last few years, has developed a really good doosra that goes away from the right-hander. So he has that in his corner also. So we'll see how the next several balls go. This is hoisted well away over the top of square leg for probably the biggest six in this match that we've seen. 6 over the top. Then look, for me, whatever his name is, whether it be Krishna Kumar or it be Zahid Zakil, I think it's Zahid Zakil, he now gets into the 50s. He's 55 from 22 with 5 4s and 4 6s, and 63 for 1 is on the board for the St. Louis Americans.
And what a way to go into the 50s. It's style, a tremendous 6, the biggest one of the day. The ball just sat up with the spin. We know there's going to be some grip and purchase, but it just sat up there, and he's just in a zone where he found it and just sent it back and said, go fetch it.
Look, Irish, we are less than 4 delivers left in the 6th over. It's a 12-over match. The St. Louis Americans are halfway there in terms of the number of runs needed. They're at 63 for 1. They are ahead of the run rate. So from here, all they need to do is maintain what they've done so far. The Houston Hurricanes, at this point, appear to be behind as this ball is played off the back foot all the way down deep. That is Matt Trump at deep point, and he gets just a single. But the job, frankly, at this point, has been made easier for the aggressive start that St. Louis Americans have had.
I agree with you, Brian, but let's not give up right now on the Hurricanes.
Nobody's
right?
giving up.
There's been a strong breeze, and they're going to have to hit against the breeze right now to clear the boundary from this end. And if Rafiq can get his line right and just force the Seattle Americans to go tap ones and hit a few dot balls, there's been a lot of runs off the high pace and the fast bowlers so far. They have to find a way to slow this game down somehow.
Well, slowing the game down generally calls for a good spin, and there's a couple of good spinners in the attack. Obviously, the captain himself, and there's also Karthik Gatipale. Short, powered. In fact, he's looking to pull that away on the offside, only succeeding in finding cover where the fielder right at cover, Hamza Bangash, is able to prevent that from going away for any run. So a precious dot ball. 1 ball remaining here in the 6th.
Rafiq's made a good adjustment. He's pushing the ball wider on the offside, make Zakir really fetch it to go hit it to the leg side, and just giving him up a single, if anything, on the offside. So you just pull that line further to the offside now.
Height. How much distance? Not enough. Oh, he dropped it. Not enough distance, but a simple catch at deep long on should have been taken. I believe that is Usman Shinwari down there at the boundary. Should have been right down his throat. He looked it, did everything right, but was not able to close the deal. Look at this replay, Mayuresh.
We just talked about it. The wind is picked up. This is against the wind, fetching it from the outside of the off. So everything was set up perfectly to trap Zakir and get that wicket. We just needed the catch to come true.
Boy, that is a big miss in the context of this game. In fact, that is Hassan Shah. My apologies to Usman Shinwari. Hassan Shah not able to put that one away. So single here to close things out in the 6th over. 11 runs from the over. The score after 6 is 66 for 1.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Welcome back. Start of the 7th over. Seattle Americans at 66 for 1, and they are on the way to victory here, well ahead of target. And the Houston Hurricanes have really been disappointing. You've heard it before, not from me, but from the pundits before. Catches win matches. They've dropped 2 precious catches that would have changed the complexion of this match. And they just need to go really up their game. The body language is not there. The execution has not been there. Really need to go have a change of plans, a change of execution here. That said, going at 9 or 10 runs and over is not easy, even if you're ahead. And it just takes 1 wicket to slow things down.
This is Kartik Gatipale into the attack. Left arm spinner, bowling to the left-hander. I think he'll prefer bowling to the right-hander. First delivery is knocked into mid-wicket. They sprint through for 2. So that's what you want to do if you are Zaid Zakil. He's now up to 61. Make that 59 from 26, 5 4s and 4 6s. Gerard Erasmus, almost an afterthought. I think Kartik Gatipale would prefer bowling to the right-handed Gerard Erasmus than Zaid Zakil. We'll see how well he does the rest of the way. But, of course, Kartik Gatipale, who is a left-arm orthodox spinner. So he'll be turning the ball into the left-hander, which obviously is something that is beneficial to the left-hander if he's looking to hit big. Let's see what the attack or the line of attack here. For me, Mayuresh, this needs to be outside the line of off stump, almost right inside the wide line outside of off stump to take away the power game for Zaid Zakil.
Absolutely. There's a deep square leg, there's a deep mid wicket, and a long off, long on. So basically protection on that leg side.
Oh,
he's pulled it straight to deep square leg, just as I mentioned. He fell for the trap, and finally a catch from who else? A Trump brother. Those guys are dependable, calm, cool, collected. We just talked about the field placement of, setting the trap, making sure that it's hard work for them to go pull to the leg side. Deep square leg was set there. And Zakir, who's played a fantastic innings of 59 of 27, really has set the pace and given this team a lead, but just could not, hold himself back and had to go pull it to the leg side. Though the ball was spinning into him, he just didn't get all of it and did not get the elevation, and a comfortable catch for Matthew Stomp.
Well, Brent, happy Father's Day. Oh, yeah, happy Father's Day in Australia, Brent, and then Jonathan, Christian, and Nicholas. First of all, tell your dad happy Father's Day. And then number 2, you're seeing your nephew/cousin do big things here on the big screen. Matthew Trump looking that one straight in. That ball was turning in, which again generally is what you want as a power hitter. You want the ball to be turning into you, but not making good contact with Zaid Zakil, coming off the thick top edge, and Matthew Trump with the easiest catch that he'll receive anywhere on this field. He'll take much more difficult catches than that. So that is the second wicket. And now, importantly, there will be 2 right-handers at the crease. This is the captain, Justin Dill, at the crease to join Gerard Erasmus. And I think you will like your chances if you are Kartik Gatipale bowling to 2 right-handers, because you'll be turning the ball away from them both. So this is not an insignificant development in the context of this game. 68 for 2, another 58 runs needed from the next 34 balls. But with the 2 right-handers at the crease, I think Kartik Gatipale may have a huge impact on what happens the rest of the way here.
And Zakir will be kicking himself not just for missing that delivery, not clearing the boundary, but actually finding the one fielder who's been taking catches on the Hurricanes.
Exactly.
Every batsman should find out where the Storm brothers are right now and pick a different stroke, a different location, because I think that's the other mistake they made, just pick the wrong fielder.
Look, both Trump brothers are excellent cricketers. Anywhere on the field, Josh Trump today wearing the gloves. Even when he's not wearing the gloves, he's excellent in the field. Kartik Gatipale with the ball in hand, now bowling to the captain, Justin Dill. And they both Justin Dill and Gerard Erasmus are both big hitters of the cricket ball. But with that ball turning away from them both, that adds an extra element Kartik Gatipale bowling around the wickets, looking to slant that ball in and have it leave Justin Dill. We'll see how well it goes.
Oh, that's some turn and grip there.
There is the turn that we're looking for. If you're a Houston Hurricanes fan, of course, that ball from around the wicket, turning it, gripping and then turning away from the right-hander. Pay attention to that type of delivery. So 2 dot balls. Excellent bowling here by Kartik Gatipale to start. Now 2 delivers remaining in the 7th.
This is the effect a wicket can have. You know, 3 dot balls with a wicket just slows things down, and some doubts, some questions being asked in the batsman's mind. How much is this ball going to stop and turn, and where are they going to go pick those easy runs? Rocks on the back foot, drives it straight back to long off for an easy single, thinking about a second, but settled for 1. And then Brian, you know, I can't resist, but you know, I have to go. Thank you for mentioning that Josh is a wicketkeeper. Reinforces the analogy I made about AB de Villiers. Not only does he hit 360, not only does he clear that front foot, but he also keeps wickets. So I think it's a settled question.
Settled debate.
So, yeah. Oh,
great delivery, appeal for a catch, but not given. Umpire Myron James getting a good look, but then decided that did not hit anything. But a good over bowled by Kartik Gatipale. 3 runs coming from the over, and he takes the big wickets of Zaid Zakil. So after 7, 3 runs come from that over. After 7, the score is 69 for 2.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
welcome back. Start of the 8th over Seattle Americans at 69 for 2, chasing 126. They were well in control, well in command. There was a slight change in script in the last over with a wonderful over from Gatipale, getting a wicket, several dot deliveries, slowed the game down, got out the key wicket of Zakir, who was just blasting the runs away and setting the pace for the innings.
Well, Mayuresh, the St. Louis Americans will be surprised to know that you just moved them to Seattle, but it is Usman Shinwar with the ball now, coming from the southern end of the ground, the highway end. His first over cost 9 runs, but he is a brilliant bowler. He bowls a good Yorker, also great pace. This is an excellent matchup.
Quick single.
Look at this. Oh, looking to play football there instead of cricket, Usman Shinwari. This should be a leg by. The signal there from umpire Owen Brown. You'll accept any singles that you can take at this stage of the innings if you're the Houston Hurricanes, because every single makes that required rate go up. As of now, the required rate is 11.59. Essentially, they need 2 runs off every ball from here. 29 remaining balls, and they need another 56 runs. So you're going to need to be at the point where you're able to generate runs any way that you can, but you need to mix in some 2s, 4s, and 6s the rest of the way.
Right. Well, first of all, my apologies to all St. Louisians, as well as Seattleans. That could go both ways in terms of apologies. That said, Sherwani has been express fast. He is no doubt the fastest bowler on the field today, and he is express. It's interesting they've gone back to fast bowling. It did leak a lot of runs. Let's see what happens in this over.
Attempting the scoop shot. Look, Mayuresh, when you and I played, you didn't see many scoop shots. But here, the scoop shot seems to be one of the go-to shots for these batters in these areas. In this instance, the scoop shot can actually be suicidal because you're trying to get in line with the delivery coming to you close to 90 miles an hour. Here you see on the replay, getting in line, missing the scoop shot. Had he gotten any bats on that, it would have flown away for 4 or 6. But there is an element of risk in that shot.
It was set up for a textbook shot. Just plant your foot forward and go down with a straight bat. Brian, when you and I played, the current edition of the textbook was not out. These shots did not exist.
Here's Shinwari again. Short and wide, and there's a signal by umpire Owen Brown. You cannot give away any extras whatsoever if you're looking to restrict the team. 55 runs needed. You need 28. You need to contain them if you're the Houston Hurricanes. Contain them in 28 balls. So it will not be easy. I can understand why they went back to Shinwari. 5 bowlers. You need at least, well, you need 3 of them to bowl 2 overs each and 2 to bowl 3. I would think Usman Shinwari would be one of the ones who was asked to bowl 3. And look, we don't have a lot of time left. 28 deliveries left. Plenty of sun, looking at where the sun is in the west from us. Shinwari again. Oh.
Play and a miss.
There's the express delivery. You talked about how quick Shinwari is. 1.3 overs so far, only conceded 10 runs. That type of run rate or that type of economy rate is exactly what you need to be able to win this game if you're the Houston Hurricanes.
And just one more over of that kind of economy can make a difference. Erasmus has been there for a while. He's seen 11 deliveries, but even he is struggling to go get bat and ball. There seems to be a little of confusion in his head, I think, of what he wants to go do. We've seen the scoop once. We've seen him just play the cut shot. So I think he just needs to settle down, pick his spots, and figure out where his scoring regions are.
Not going to be easy against Shinwari. Short delivery, slapped straight down the ground. That's going to be 4, I believe. Yep, goes all the way between mid-off and mid-on for a boundary. A very valuable 4 runs, and this will make a big difference because now 7 runs from the over so far with 3 balls remaining.
That, my friend, is a scoring region, right back behind the bowler. Comes in here, just kind of muscles it with the baseball side shot, but he finds the gap this time. He waited for it. He just waited for the ball. It got stuck in the ground. Wasn't that fast. Just waited for it. Did a baseball shot straight back. No one able to go cover straight ahead. 4 runs. That's his first boundary, if I'm right. And he's still at 12 off 13. So he's going to have to make a bigger contribution. He's got a start. He's played some balls. He needs to go now, make it count, and keep this acceleration going.
Well, he definitely is a senior partner. 12 from 13 for him, Gerard Erasmus. Justin Dill, captain, only faced 4 deliveries and scored 1 run. So Shinwari looking to make amends this next delivery. Scoop shot attempted again. My goodness. Once again, you said exactly, Mayaresh. The current scoring book, or the current book
textbook.
was not in it. The current textbook was not in existence when you and I both played. So 2 dot balls in this over are due to missed attempted scoop shots.
Yeah.
So dot balls, you do not need dot balls when you're chasing this type of a target.
And whichever textbook you prescribe to, what delivery, he's kept the pace. He hasn't experimented too much. He's just bowling at the batsman's body. And I think just a bit of muddle mind, no matter what textbook you prescribe to, just keep it simple, always works.
So, Mayaresh, when I played, of course, you know, I was a left-arm fast bowler. If this is me about to bowl the 5th ball of this over, given those 2 shots, this is the best Yorker that I can bowl. I'm targeting the base of leg stump with this ball.
Let's see, let's see if you can call it. Oh.
That's what he was trying to do, but ended up bowling a low full toss, missed the length on his Yorker, and is slammed away into the deep, wide of long on, 1 bounce, and it goes for 4.
You called it, Brian. The thought process was there. The execution wasn't quite right. Low full toss, dispatched by Erasmus. And again, the 2 scoring shots he's had, right? He's found the gap. He's found the zone where he can score runs and stayed steady and don't have to play anything fancy. Just keep it simple. Find your scoring shots. End of the 8th over. 80-foot 2s. St. Louis Americans on the chase. This game is on the edge.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Welcome back to Prairie View, to the Sunoco Minor League Cricket League, a contest here between the St. Louis Americans and Houston Hurricanes. We're in for a battle. 80 for 2 for St. Louis, chasing 126 for the win. 4 overs to go. We have two fairly new batsmen at the crease. Gerard Erasmus has been there for a while. He's just started to go pick up the momentum, started to take on a senior leadership in this partnership. And Justin Dill is on his 5th delivery, picking up 2 runs there, cutting it to the deep point boundary.
Yeah, and going by the first over from Karthik Gattapalli, spin might be what the doctor has ordered for the Hurricanes. The required rate, it's not a very steep task. With 8 wickets in hand, you would give the St. Louis Americans the edge. Only 11 runs an over required. Mind you, it's a 12-over game. That's a better delivery from Karthik Gattapalli, just back of length, and Justin Dill was looking to heave it towards the offside. Doesn't get good connection. The next ball from Karthik. Nicely tossed, and there's a bit of turn, and the fielder at cow corner was on his toes. Usman Shinwari keeps it down to a single.
And singles are okay at this stage. Munir, welcome back to the hot seat there. Your read on the body language, you called it early on. Where do you see the teams right now? Where do you feel the momentum is right now?
It's definitely in favor of the St. Louis Americans, given how much momentum they've had in this innings. But a crucial breakthrough just came recently for the Hurricanes, and this one is short and wide, and Gerard Erasmus would feel that he has missed out. The invitation was there to go inside out over cover. So the only way for the Hurricanes back in this game is wickets, and when the new batsman comes in, come back to that point after this delivery, and another decent ball, a little bit of backspin on that delivery, but it's not easy getting that 2 against the strong arm of Matthew Tromp. They do get back for 2. So coming to your point, Mayurish, wickets are the key. There's only 3.2 overs left in this game, but when a new batsman comes in, it's not easy to just strike the ball from the very first delivery. The settled batsmen for the St. Louis Americans have to see it through, and the wicket of Gerard Erasmus is going to be so crucial. He's been out there for some time as Karthik comes again, and this one is skied up in the air. Long off is converging, but he couldn't get there in time. The fielder at long off, looks like it's Mukhtar. With that, the over comes to a close. Karthik Gattapalli has bowled 2 very crucial overs, just 9 runs in his 2 overs. At the end of 9, the score is 87 for 2.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
Welcome back. Start of the 10th over. 86 for 2, St. Louis. This game, in my mind, is in the balance. And I think you're right, Munir. The new batsman is going to struggle on this wicket. It's just slowed down a bit. It's struggling to go find those clean hits, those easy runs. Gerhardt is critical because he's the set batsman. He's still only going at about 100 strike rate. But it's key that he stays there. His timing has been perfect. He's starting to find 1s and 2s. But momentum is key. Even a dot ball is going to be significant enough when you have to go at almost 13 runs and over.
And it's that phase of the innings where the target is referred to in terms of mere balls rather than overs. 18 deliveries to go, 39 runs required. Hamza Bangash has come in from the highway 290 end, and this is slightly short, and the fielder at fine leg is gonna take it, and that's a huge wicket. The skipper Justin Dill is the one who departs.
That has to feel like a soft wicket. We'll see the replay in a second. It was short. It was there to be pulled. I have to go see why Justin wasn't able to get a full effect on the shot there.
Or in fact, it's Gerard Erasmus. Because of that little scoring glitch that we are trying to fix, the score is going to reflect that pretty soon, but the strike changed at the end of the over. So Gerard Erasmus was on strike. And the exact point I made, Mayurish, in the previous over, that the batsman who has been in the middle, he faced 19 deliveries for his 19 runs. The onus was upon him to ensure that he stays till that final over and sees his team over the line. So that's a huge dent the Houston Hurricanes have caused in the underbelly of the St. Louis Americans.
And if you can perhaps get the replay again for that dismissal, we'll see massive deviation off the wicket. I think that's what surprised Gerhard. At the beginning of this match, the reason it was delayed, there was some concerns about the condition of the wicket. Was there too much moisture there? If you watch this again, pitch short in the region where there's some uncertainty, and the ball just jagged back in completely into Gerhard, took the top edge, and became a sitter for catch for backward square leg.
And Hamza Bangash, fairly young, but he's got a balanced head on his shoulders, and he knows the value of bowling into the pitch and taking the pace of the ball. If you're going to bowl full and right up to the batsman, you're going to disappear. So use the pace, take pace off the ball, and this one straight away has been pulled down to the throat of that fielder, Karthik Gattapalli. So Hamza Bangash, 2 wickets and 2 deliveries. He has turned this game around on its head in the matter of mere 2 deliveries, Mayurish.
Yeah, it's like almost a repeat. This time the batsman got more on the bat, but again the placement was straight to the deep fielder. It was, Bangash had a great first over where he definitely got the first sort of off-pace bowling having an effect on the batsman. They really weren't able to get into the get him in the first over. His second over in here, 2 balls, 2 wickets, and he's just been able to go change the pace and the bounce enough. He's thrown the batsman off completely. We'll watch the replay here in a second. Again, pitches it short, attempted pull, not quite there, and this time more contact, but straight to the deep square leg fielder.
Yeah, and 2 good things about that delivery was the point I was previously making, that you have to take pace off the ball and not pitch it up to the batsman. So he bowled it into the pitch, and it wasn't easy for the batsman to use the pace of the delivery and get distance on that ball. And the second thing was the line of attack. That ball was on the right shoulder of the batsman, so he was always dragging that ball, and that's the other reason he couldn't get that distance. So Hamza Bangash is on a hat trick. Here he comes, and another delivery into the pitch, and this could have been a dismissal. The batsman had taken off a direct hit, and he was gone for all money.
There was almost a team hat trick there with a direct strike. They might have been out. This is definitely effective bowling. He's found a recipe here that seems to be working. Banging it in, like you say, it takes the driving shots out, and they're not able to handle the shorter delivery. Beautiful delivery, perfect line right in the body, and the line of off in middle. Well played, well handled. The calling could be suspect over there.
Yeah, and the next delivery comes in, and he goes slightly fuller, so he's also throwing some variations. And when it's Matthew Tromp, you don't want to chance his arm. The Tromps combining there to keep it down to a single. This has been a great over. Only 2 runs.
This could be turning point over right now. 2 wickets, 2 runs, and we're at only 38 of 2.3 needed, which is about 15 deliveries, 38 runs. This could be the turning point over.
And Hamza Bangash comes in again. He wants to finish strong, and this is another good delivery again, just into the pitch, not up to the batsman for them to chance their arms. Intelligent is Hamza Bangash.
And credit to Houston Hurricanes. They had a patch in the middle they were definitely a little dicey in the field. The body language was not great. Runs were leaking, but again they slowed the game down. They found a way back in, and the moment they got Zakir out, they've been able to go get control in this innings back.
So he needs to finish strong and get out of this over. The previous one was a dot ball, and this one is the final delivery. And again, it's very hard to get and shy at the stumps. And skipper Usman Rafiq gets across, so no overthrows. Only 3 runs off that over. Couple of wickets, a dot ball. Game turning over for Hamza Bangash. Don't go anywhere. There are 2 overs to go and 36 runs to win as far as the St. Louis Americans are concerned. At the end of 10, it's 89 for 4.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Welcome back. Start of the 11th over. Just 12 deliveries left in this innings. Straight drive over, and that's a 6. Straight, perfect drive over the bowler's head. It was flat for a second. We couldn't tell where it was going. It was fairly flat, but it was hit strong and hard. Went straight for 6 runs, and that's a great start to the over, considering it's a pretty steep target going forward for the St. Louis Americans. Need to go at 15.5 and over, so 6s are in order. May make life a little simpler, may make decision making easier. They need to go hit 4s and 6s. 1s and 2s will not cut it. Decision may be made easy.
Yeah, and it's a major gamble Usman has taken, although Karthik's first 2 over were very good. And this one again is slightly back of length, and long off does very well. Looks like it's Saif Badr. He had to make the call whether to go for the catch or save the boundary. I think he made the right decision. Boundaries are so crucial at this point in time. Coming to that previous point, Mayuresh, Karthik's first 2 overs went for 9 runs. So, like we said, only 2 bowlers can bowl 3 overs in this innings. So Karthik is going to be one of those. And this one again, slightly over-pitched into the arc, but the batsman can't get under it and get that elevation.
And we know Shinwari, I think, has 1 over left as well. He could be the guy finishing it out, potentially. So this over, it's make or break, in my opinion, for St. Louis Americans. They have to go all in. They've got a spinner, the wind behind them. They have to be targeting Karthik right now.
Most definitely. 5th ball of the over coming up. Slowing it down. Absolutely no pace on that delivery for the batsman to do anything.
You see the frustration in his body language that he just not able to go find the rhythm to go pull that ball to any gap. Using his feet, going straight over. This could be another big 6. Beautiful shot there. Using his feet, coming down the wicket, meeting the pitch of the delivery and getting great clearance, comfortable 6. Over long off. Watching the replay here. Using his feet, straight 6, over long off. Never in doubt. Plenty of coverage.
Yeah, and like we said, it was a big call from Usman Rafiq to throw his spinner, the penultimate over. The risk was that anything tossed up, if the batsman gets stuck into it, get under the ball and get that elevation, it's going to disappear. And out of those 5, 2 have been such deliveries.
1 ball left in the over.
And this one, he was looking to improvise, went deep into his crease, took a big swing at it and misses out. So I think in spite of those 2 6s, the fact that the other 4 balls went for only 2 runs, the Hurricanes would be happy. And at the end of that over, it's 103 for 4 and 11. Stay tuned. 23 runs are required of the final over. We'll be right back.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
All right, folks, it's conclusion time. The build up to the big climax, the final over of the innings. No surprises, it's that number 50 jersey, Usman Shinwari. He's going to be bowling the exact same stuff he bowled in over number 10 of this innings. Into the pitch, pacey deliveries around the waist, into the body.
Justin Dill on strike. 23 runs, you need some big ones here. And we know Shinwari's got that extra fast pace. He is swift. He's not going to be easy to pull and pick off. It all depends on what kind of lines and lengths he can hold and maintain.
You would back Usman to defend this 10 out of 10 times, but the Houston Hurricanes still need to be on their toes. And exactly what we said, it's that expected delivery, no surprises, into the pitch, pacey, just outside off stump, dot ball to start. So 5 deliveries, 23 runs, 4 sixes.
It's an uphill task at this point. You have to put the Hurricanes in favorites right now. It's still not out of reach mathematically, but we haven't seen Justin really demonstrate that he can go pick the deliveries and find a scoring shot. He's had a little bit of success going straight over the bowler or to a deep cow corner. Those have been his best scoring shots so far.
Justin Dill, skipper, can you dispatch this? And it's the same delivery. The equation is pretty simple now. 23 required of 4 balls. 3 sixes on the boundary takes us into a super over. And 4 consecutive sixes takes it home for the St. Louis Americans. Any other result, any permutation on those 4 balls besides those 2 combinations I defined is going to be win for the Hurricanes. So high probability of the Hurricanes taking this home.
Munir, you're right. There's the same delivery line length. The difference was about 10 clicks faster.
Here comes Usman Shinwari. Same delivery, and this time it's sailing over. Desperate effort from Karthik Gatapalli at deep square, and it sails over his head. He leaps in the air. Doesn't time his jump to perfection. He wishes he got some fingers behind that ball, so it's still not over. It's getting interesting.
It's not over. I think maybe Justin Dill heard what you were saying because you just laid out the equation for him. Maybe he just said, you know what? That's easy. I'm just going to hit everything for 6.
And as we watch that replay, the line of attack is the same, but probably what was the downfall of Usman was he erred in length. It was too short. A lot of time for Justin Dill to pull that ball backward of square. So Usman Shinwari needs to make that correction. If he gets 1 ball right, it's the end of the game. As simple as that. Here he comes again. Strong wind blowing. And there it is, that 1 ball we were talking about. Foolish delivery, and they're going to come back for 2. Might be a direct hit. It is, in fact, a direct hit. We've been talking about that arm of Matthew Tromp. We hear Mom Candace in the back appreciating that throw, and that brings an end to the game, most likely, unless there are extra deliveries.
Yeah, I can understand why they went for it, but you just picked out the best fielder on the field out there, and what a pickup and throw directly on the stumps. Great delivery from Shinwari, going for that Yorker. Justin Dill couldn't do nothing but dig it out. Pick up, throw, and let's just see. It was, yes, a direct hit from the outfield. That's high quality cricket. It's when you can elevate your game to the point where you're doing direct hits from the outfield, you've elevated the quality of the cricket for everybody.
It was one of those Yorkers on the shoelaces. It almost slipped our mind that Usman Shinwari has got a great Yorker. So what that Yorker also did was, it was so well directed that Justin Dill also lost his balance while he was digging it out. That's where he lost that extra yard, or he would have made it back for a second. As we look at that delivery again, he's a senior pro, played international cricket. He was going to come up with something after that 6, and he changed his line of attack, his length of attack, and went for that Yorker on the base of the stump, right into the shoelaces. And with that, we wonder if this game is now a foregone conclusion. And there you see the wicket. So with that, the final ball of the game is coming up. Looks like the new batsman, we're going to be updating it very soon.
There should be 2 deliveries left, I think, in the over.
Yeah, 2 deliveries to go. Here's Usman Shinwari, and the new batsman tries improvisation. It's not going to be easy to scoop that delivery, rearing at about 135 kph kilometers per hour. It's tense out there, but with that, I think we can be certain that's the end of the game. Final ball to come.
Yeah, it's been a great innings, a great match. You know, we started off with doubt whether we're going to play. The surface had some snakes in it. The teams decided we're going to let it dry out as much as possible and play. And to be honest, apart from Bangesh getting the ball to really talk off that half-pitch ball, it's been a fairly even contest. You know, we've had good contest in bat and ball. There's been a few innings and a few performances that have made the difference.
And there we go, another beautiful Yorker, and the batsman can only manage to chop it or dig it out. And with that, the game comes to a close. The St. Louis Americans can still hold their chin-ups. They were up against it right from word go, and Zahid came all guns blazing. He had a great partnership with Gerard Erasmus, but it was always going to be an uphill task, going consistently at over 10 runs an over against a pace attack that comprises of Usman Shinwari, Mohammad Asif, and the spin twins, Karthik Gatapalli and Usman Rafiq. And the unlikely hero, in spite of all those big names I just took, was Hamza Bangesh. As you see that scorecard, the game was in the balance until Hamza got Gerard Erasmus and Ujjwal win a quota of consecutive deliveries. Nikhil Kanchan tried to get stuck, and he hit a couple of sixes of Karthik in the penultimate over, but the task was too much to achieve in that final over. And there you see that innings from Zahid Zakil. You will see that scorecard updated, and they're going to switch the batsmen around. It's in fact Zahid who got those 58 runs of 26 deliveries. Was very enterprising with the kind of strokes he played, was moving around the crease and kept us entertained. And while he was out there in the middle, the Hurricanes were breathing heavy.
They were definitely struggling, and with the St. Louis Americans, he was really giving them a chance, and he was taking the attack to the Hurricanes. It was a different game while he was out there. Once he got out, the game swung differently. And as you mentioned, Hamza Bangesh, fantastic over there. The second over, I mean, just 2 overs, 2 wickets, 16 runs. That was the pivot of the match at the very end. Took it out of reach at that point.
There was never going to be a doubt that Usman Shinwari was going to bowl those 3 overs, and he would bowl in the death. And 23 runs to defend Usman Shinwari. You can put all your money and all your fortune on him to defend it 10 out of 10 times. In international cricket, for that matter, very rarely you would see 23 scored in the final over. But also got to give credit to the unlikely hero, Hamza Bangesh. Like I said, the game was in the balance, and Hamza came with a very clear plan, bowled to his field, and used the pitch to good effect, and made it very difficult for the St. Louis Americans. So there you have it. The final story here is on the back of the innings of Saif Badr and Joshua Tromp, and wonderful bowling from Karthik Gatapalli, Hamza Bangesh, Usman Shinwari and co. The Houston Hurricanes have bounced from that unfortunate defeat yesterday to the Chicago Stallions, and they are back in the race. As far as the St. Louis Americans are concerned, there's a lot of work to do.
It's been a fantastic day of cricket. I'm glad they got a match in. It's been well played with good spirit, and Munir, has been great to call it with you. Last call out, we've talked about the Tromp brothers. They've been fantastic. Josh with the bat, and then 2 catches and a direct hit run out from Matthew. I think that just epitomizes the Hurricanes. Those 2 brothers did a fantastic job, along with the bowlers you mentioned.
Yep, and that's the story, folks. In reduced over games, the Houston Hurricanes have come out on top. We're only halfway through this gigantic Labor Day weekend cricket extravaganza of the minor league cricket. 38 games in total are being played across the country in various venues, and join us tomorrow again for more action. It's a Sunday morning, and then we'll also have more games coming your way over the Labor Day weekend. This is Munir, Mayuresh and Brian Walters signing off from Prairie View Cricket Complex. This is the Sunoco Minor League. Houston Hurricanes with the win. We'll see you tomorrow. You all have a good evening. And this one is straight up in the air. Matthew Trump is in business. He's coming under the ball. It went sky high. And sitting right next to you. And this one, he steps down the ground. Long on is in business, and that should have been taken. It was straight down. He comes in again from the highway end, and this one is back of length, and that's beautifully pulled. And that one, as we were praising Muhammad Asif, he pitches one outside the off stump on the seam, and it could go either way. As again, he bowls it onto the pads. As I keep applauding Muhammad Asif, manufactured that shot. And this one, has he pulled off a stunner? Has the keeper just changed the player?
Full attempted drive. That comes off the outside edge. That's going to run away for 4. He has a kill. Either way, sliced away. That is going to be a high top edge, and it's flying away over deep fine leg for 6 in his corner also. So we'll see how the next several balls go. This is hoisted well away over the top of square leg.
To the offside now.
Height. How much distance? Not at all. He dropped it. Not at all.
Oh. He's pulled it straight to deep square leg, just as I mentioned. He fell for the trap.
It'll be easy against Shinwari. Short delivery, slapped straight down the ground. That's going to be 4, I believe. Yep, goes all the way. Oh. That's what he was trying to
coming from the highway 290 end, and this is slightly short, and the fielder at fine leg is going to take it. Take pace off the ball, and this one straight away has been pulled down to the throat.
Using his feet, going straight over. This could be another big 6. Beautiful shot there. Using his feet, coming down the wicket.
Comes Usman Shinwari. Same delivery, and this time it's sailing over. Desperate effort. Strong wind blowing. And there it is, that one ball we were talking about. Foolish delivery, and they're going to come back for 2. Might be a direct hit. It is, in fact, a direct hit. We've been talking about that arm of Matthew Trump. We hear Mom.
You're watching the Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship, brought to you by our 2023 partners.